Chief Engineer Daniel Carter wiped sweat from his brow as he tightened the last bolt on the space station's external cooling system. Floating in his EVA suit against the backdrop of Earth, he admired the blue planet below before pushing off toward the airlock of Tinker's Haven. Another day, another repair, he muttered to himself, a small smile playing across his lips. After 15 years working orbital maintenance, Daniel still loved his job. Inside the station, his comm unit buzzed. "Chief, you need to get to the observation deck now," said Olivia, his second in command. The urgency in her voice made him quicken his pace. "What's happening?" he asked, already moving through the station's corridors. "Something new just arrived. And it's not one of ours." Daniel reached the observation deck in record time, still half-dressed in his EVA suit. The gathered crew stood silently staring out the reinforced viewport. Outside, unlike anything Daniel had ever seen, hovered a ship. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent sheen that reminded him of beetle shells, and its design followed no human engineering principles he recognized. "It's been there for about 10 minutes, Olivia said quietly. "They're broadcasting some kind of signal, but we can't understand it." Just then, the station's AI spoke up. "Translation matrix complete. Incoming communication reads, Celestial Wind requesting emergency docking. Critical system failure." Daniel exchanged looks with Station Commander Heather Wilson, who gave a short nod. "Let them dock," she ordered. "Security team on standby." The alien vessel moved with surprising grace for a ship supposedly experiencing critical failures. It aligned perfectly with Tinker's Haven's universal docking collar, a feature designed to accommodate various human vessel configurations, not alien spacecraft. Yet somehow, it worked. Daniel led the reception team to the airlock. When the doors slid open, he found himself face to face with a being that stood nearly 7 feet tall. Its 4 arms ended in hands with 6 fingers each, and its skin had a bluish tint that matched its ship's coloring. "I am Zex Terra," the alien said through what must have been a translator device, "Captain of the Celestial Wind. We require assistance." 4 hours later, Daniel stood knee-deep in alien machinery that defied conventional understanding. The engine room of the Celestial Wind contained technology centuries ahead of human development. Yet its captain had sought human help. "Why come to us?" Daniel asked, carefully examining what appeared to be a fractured power coupling. "Your technology is far more advanced." Zex Terra made a sound that might have been a sigh. "Because your species has a reputation." "A reputation? But this is first contact as far as we know." "For you, perhaps. We have observed humans from afar. Your species possesses something unique, mechanical intuition. You improvise solutions no other species would consider." Daniel looked at the damaged coupling, then at his toolkit. Nothing he had would fit the alien components directly. "But maybe. Hand me the plasma cutter and the copper wire," he said to Olivia. 3 hours later, using a combination of human parts never designed for alien technology, modified tools, and what Olivia called pure engineering stubbornness, they had the Celestial Wind operational again. As Zex Terra prepared to depart, the alien captain approached Daniel. "This repair would have required specialized parts, and 3 weeks in a shipyard on my world. You did it in an afternoon with primitive tools." "We just figured it out," Daniel said with a shrug. "This is exactly what I mean. Your species sees mechanical problems differently. You don't follow rigid protocols, you adapt." After the alien ship departed, Commander Wilson called an emergency meeting. "If they've been watching us, others probably have too," she said. "And now they know we can repair their tech." Daniel nodded slowly. "Something tells me Zex Terra won't keep quiet about what happened here." He was right. Within 2 weeks, another alien vessel appeared requesting repairs. Then another. By month's end, Tinker's Haven had a waiting list of extraterrestrial ships seeking human ingenuity. The age of human repair specialists had begun. Lisa Wilkins frowned at the display showing 27 alien vessels in various orbits around Tinker's Haven. 6 months after the Celestial Wind's unexpected arrival, the small repair station had become the busiest port in Earth's solar system. "Chief, we've got another Miraxian freighter requesting emergency docking," said Ryan, her assistant. Lisa sighed and adjusted her operations manager uniform. "Tell them to take position in holding pattern 6. Current wait time is 48 Earth hours." She walked to the large window overlooking the main repair bay. Below, Daniel and his team worked on an enormous vessel with spiral protrusions that seemed to defy physics. 3 different alien species stood watching, their body language showing both anxiety and reverence. "Never thought I'd be managing interstellar traffic," Lisa muttered. The station's comm system chimed. "Operations, this is Carter. We finished the Jugzari vessel ahead of schedule. You can clear them for departure." "Copy that," Lisa replied. "How's the Novanite cruiser coming along?" A pause. "That's complicated. Their propulsion system uses principles we're still figuring out, but we'll get it done." This was the new normal. Humans learning alien technology on the fly, solving problems that had stumped other species for generations. What had begun as a single desperate alien seeking help had snowballed into Earth, becoming the galaxy's repair hub. Not everyone was happy about this development. Ambassador Collins entered the operations center, his face tense. "Ms. Wilkins, we have a situation. The Galactic Repair Guild has lodged a formal complaint against us." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "The what?" "Apparently, there's an organization of species that handles ship repairs throughout this sector of the galaxy. They're claiming we're undercutting their business and using dangerous, uncertified procedures." "That's ridiculous," Lisa replied. "We're just fixing ships that come to us for help." The ambassador handed her a tablet. "They've sent representatives. They're requesting a meeting." An hour later, Lisa sat across from 3 aliens in the station's conference room. The lead representative, a reptilian being named Krastor, spoke through a translator. "Your species has no understanding of the technologies you're tampering with. Your methods are unorthodox and potentially catastrophic." Daniel Carter, who'd been called to the meeting, leaned forward. "With all due respect, our methods work. We've repaired over 40 vessels with a 100% success rate. By disregarding safety protocols and proper procedures." Krastor hissed. Just then, the station's alert system blared. Ryan's voice came over the comm. "Emergency in docking bay 3. The Miraxian freighter's reactor is going critical." Everyone rushed to the observation deck. Through the reinforced glass, they could see a massive vessel with its hull plates glowing an ominous red. "Their containment field is failing," one of the guild representatives said. "Nothing can be done." Daniel was already pulling on protective gear. "Lisa, get me a team in Bay 3 now." "It's suicide," Krastor stated flatly. "The radiation levels." "We've got radiation suits," Daniel replied, "and we're not letting that ship explode near our station." Lisa watched as Daniel and 5 engineers entered the docking bay. For 20 tense minutes, they worked on the alien vessel while the guild representatives observed in shocked silence. "They're using water coolant as a temporary containment field," one whispered. That shouldn't work." But it did. The warning lights stopped flashing, and the hull's glow faded. When Daniel returned, his face was streaked with sweat but triumphant. "Reactor stabilized. We've bypassed their damaged regulator with a modified Earth design." Krastor stared at him. "Impossible. The Miraxian quantum fluctuation drive cannot interface with your technology." Daniel shrugged. "We made it work." As the guild representatives huddled in heated discussion, Lisa pulled Daniel aside. "I think we just made some powerful enemies," she whispered. Daniel nodded. "And some grateful allies. The Miraxians are apparently a major trading power." "This is bigger than a repair station now, isn't it?" Lisa asked. "Much bigger," Daniel agreed. We're changing the balance of power in the galaxy, one repair job at a time. Fleet Commander Adam Phillips stood with perfect military posture as the Galactic Repair Guild's official challenge was read aloud. The large holographic display showed the terms in both human and alien script, hovering above the gathered crowd in Tinker's Haven's main conference room. A formal competition, the Guild representative Kraz Tor announced, to determine whether human repair techniques are valid or dangerous. 3 identical vessels with identical damage. 3 teams, 1 human, 1 guild, and 1 mixed. May the most effective methods prevail. Daniel Carter exchanged looks with Lisa Wilkins. They had expected pushback from the guild, but not this. And if we refuse? Adam asked, his voice calm but firm. Krastor's reptilian features formed what might have been a smile. Then all guild-affiliated species will be forbidden from seeking human repairs. That's 60% of the traffic you currently receive. Adam turned to Daniel. Can we win this? Daniel ran a hand through his hair. They have technology centuries ahead of ours. Specialized tools designed specifically for each system. But we have human ingenuity. Olivia Garcia chimed in. She had been quiet until now, her mind already working on solutions. As Tinker's Haven's top technical specialist, she had spent months studying alien technology. We've been developing adaptive tools. I think we can do this. Adam nodded. Then we accept your challenge. After the guild representatives left, the real work began. The competition would take place in 2 weeks aboard a neutral station in the asteroid belt. Daniel gathered his best people. We need to prepare for everything they might throw at us. Olivia brought out prototypes she'd been developing. These are cross-compatibility adapters. They'll help our tools work with alien tech. The guild will try to sabotage us, Lisa warned. They've got too much to lose. Adam's face hardened, which is why I'm assigning a security team to protect our equipment and personnel. For the next 14 days, they worked nonstop. They practiced on every type of alien system they could access. They memorized specifications, studied material properties, and developed new repair approaches. The night before the competition, Daniel couldn't sleep. He found Olivia in the workshop, modifying tools. "Do you think we're ready?" he asked. She looked up, dark circles under her eyes. "Ready? No, but we're humans. We adapt." The competition station was massive, a converted asteroid mining facility. When the human team arrived, they found the guild had brought 20 engineers from various species and equipment that filled 3 cargo shuttles. The human team had 1 shuttle of tools and 12 people. Intimidation tactics, Adam commented as they watched the guild unload case after case of specialized equipment. A competition administrator, a neutral party from a species called the Arbiters, showed them the 3 vessels. They were old patrol ships, decommissioned but identical. Each had been damaged in exactly the same way: hull breaches, power system failures, navigation systems offline, and life support critically damaged. The vessels must be made space-worthy within 12 hours, the Arbiter explained. They will then undergo identical flight tests. As they inspected their assigned ship, Daniel noticed something troubling. These systems are Torellian design. The Guild has extensive experience with them, and we've seen exactly 2 Torellian ships, Lisa added. The rules briefing contained more unwelcome surprises. No communication between teams. Limited reference materials allowed. And the human team's work area was positioned where waste heat from the station's reactors made the temperature uncomfortably high. "They're stacking the deck," Adam said quietly. Daniel nodded but kept his expression neutral. "It doesn't matter. We didn't earn our reputation by following other people's rules." As the competition's starting signal sounded, Daniel gathered his team. "Forget how things are supposed to be fixed. Look at how they work, then find better solutions." Olivia grinned as she picked up her modified tools. Time to show the galaxy how humans solve problems. They entered their assigned vessel as underdogs, but with determination burning in their eyes. The challenge had begun. Jack Norris crawled through the narrow maintenance shaft of the damaged Torellian vessel, sweat dripping into his eyes. The competition had been running for 4 hours, and the human team was falling behind. "How's it looking in there?" Daniel's voice crackled through his earpiece. "Not great," Jack replied, shining his light on the tangle of unfamiliar circuitry. "Their navigation system uses some kind of crystalline computing architecture I've never seen before." On the bridge, Daniel wiped his forehead with his sleeve. The guild had positioned the human work area near the station's heat exchangers, making their ship uncomfortably hot. A psychological tactic, he knew. "Olivia, any progress on the power systems?" Daniel asked. Olivia shook her head, her hands deep inside an open panel. "Their diagnostic tools are giving contradictory readings. It's like the system is deliberately misleading us." Daniel glanced through the viewport at the guild ship. Their team moved with practiced efficiency, using devices specifically designed for Torellian technology. Meanwhile, the human team was using modified Earth tools and pure determination. "We need a different approach," Daniel decided. "Everyone stop what you're doing and gather on the bridge." When the team assembled, sweaty and frustrated, Daniel said, "We're approaching this wrong. We're trying to understand alien technology by our standards. Instead, let's look for patterns." Jack's eyes lit up. "You know, these systems might be alien, but they still follow logical principles. I've been noticing something about the navigation circuits." He quickly sketched a diagram. "The pathways aren't random. They follow patterns similar to fractals in nature. If we map them this way—" His hands moved swiftly, drawing connections. "That's it," Olivia exclaimed. "The system isn't linear like ours. It's processing in patterns." Samantha Miller, an apprentice mechanic with an art background, had been unusually quiet. Now she spoke up. "The biomechanical interfaces remind me of neural networks. They're not just circuits, they're grown." Daniel looked at her with new respect. "What are you suggesting?" Samantha took Jack's diagram and modified it. "If we approach repairs like healing rather than fixing, we might get different results." With this new perspective, the team split up again, now looking for patterns instead of trying to understand each component individually. Jack discovered that navigation pathways followed mathematical sequences that, once recognized, made diagnosis much faster. Olivia found that power systems responded to harmonic frequencies rather than direct current. By using sound waves at specific pitches, she could stimulate self-repair functions in damaged components. 3 hours later, their progress had accelerated dramatically. The human team still lacked the guild's specialized equipment, but their pattern recognition approach was working. Daniel peered through the viewport again. The guild engineers were methodically replacing components with identical spares. Effective but slow. The mixed team was somewhere in between, combining both approaches. "Life support's responding," Samantha called out. She had rigged a makeshift interface that pulsed colors and sounds at the biological components. Somehow, the ship's systems were responding to this multi-sensory stimulation. Just as hope was building, alarms blared throughout the competition station. The Arbiter's voice came over all communications channels. "Emergency protocol initiated. Vessel 2 experiencing critical containment failure." Vessel 2 was the mixed team's ship. Daniel rushed to the viewport. Through it, he could see the guild team evacuating their vessel. The mixed team's ship had energy discharges crackling across its hull. "Something's wrong," Jack said, studying his readings. "This isn't a normal failure. The energy signature is all wrong." Before Daniel could respond, a massive power surge ripped through all 3 competition vessels simultaneously. Control panels exploded in showers of sparks. In seconds, their hard-won progress was gone, and the ships were in worse condition than when they'd started. "Sabotage," Olivia whispered, looking at Daniel with wide eyes. The competition had just become a fight for survival. The Arbiter's voice echoed through the station with urgent clarity. "All teams evacuate your vessels immediately. This is not part of the competition." Repeat. All teams evacuate now. Daniel led his team toward the airlock, but paused as Jack grabbed his arm. Chief, the mixed-team ship is showing signs of cascade failure. If that drive goes critical. Daniel understood immediately. A drive explosion would destroy not just the competition vessels, but potentially the entire station. Get our people to safety, Daniel ordered Lisa. Then he turned to Olivia and Jack. You two with me. Against the flow of evacuating competitors, the three humans raced toward the mixed team's vessel. They arrived to find chaos. Two guild engineers argued with the Arbiter while the mixed team stood helplessly nearby. The containment field is collapsing, one guild engineer shouted. There's nothing we can do without our specialized equipment. Daniel pushed forward. What's happening? A tall, slender alien with 4 arms, the mixed team leader, turned to him. The power surge created a feedback loop in the quantum drive. We have perhaps 20 minutes before catastrophic failure. Daniel assessed the situation quickly. We need all 3 teams working together. This isn't about the competition anymore. The guild's lead engineer, Krastor, hissed in frustration. Impossible. Our protocols forbid sharing proprietary techniques with. Your protocols won't matter if we're all dead, Olivia interrupted. The Arbiter stepped between them. I temporarily suspend all guild restrictions. Work together, or this station is lost. Inside the failing vessel, engineers from all 3 teams gathered around the drive chamber. The quantum core pulsed with unstable energy, each flash brighter than the last. Our containment tools are still in our ship, Krastor said. They're too heavy to move quickly. Daniel studied the drive. We don't need to contain it permanently. We just need to stabilize it long enough to initiate an emergency shutdown. He turned to the assembled engineers. Jack, coordinate with the guild to identify the critical failure points. Olivia, work with the mixed team on bypassing the damaged regulators. To everyone's surprise, Daniel began removing panels from the surrounding walls. What are you doing? Krastor demanded. Making tools, Daniel replied, stripping conductive material from the panels. We need to create a temporary energy sink. As the minutes ticked by, something remarkable happened. The guild engineers, initially resistant, began following Daniel's lead. They combined their technical knowledge with human improvisation. The mixed team provided crucial insights into how the systems interacted. The energy pattern is stabilizing, Jack announced after 15 intense minutes. But we're not out of danger yet. A younger guild engineer named Vorlak worked alongside Olivia, their hands moving in synchronized motion as they rewired a control node. Your method is unorthodox, the alien admitted, but effective. Sometimes the manual isn't the answer, Olivia replied. Sometimes you need to feel the problem. Daniel noticed something interesting as they worked. Several guild engineers were far more familiar with human techniques than they should have been. They adapted quickly, almost as if they'd studied human methods. You've been watching us, Daniel said quietly to Krastor as they worked side by side. The guild leader hesitated, then nodded. We've had observers at your station. Your methods are concerning but undeniably effective. The core's pulsing slowly stabilized. Jack's makeshift energy sink absorbed the excess power, while Olivia's bypass prevented new surges. Guild diagnostic tools confirmed what human intuition had sensed. They were bringing the system back under control. When the final connection was made, the drive's angry glow faded to a steady, calm blue. The station's alarms fell silent. Emergency shutdown complete, the mixed team leader announced. Drive stabilized. As the combined team exited the vessel, exhausted but triumphant, the Arbiter approached. The competition has been compromised. Someone sabotaged all 3 vessels. Daniel looked at Krastor. The guild leader's expression had changed. There was something new there, not quite respect, but recognition. Perhaps, Krastor said slowly, there is value in different approaches after all. The investigation into the sabotage delayed the competition by 2 days. Security footage revealed a rogue faction within the guild had orchestrated the power surge, hoping to discredit human repair methods. The perpetrators were detained, and the Arbiter announced the competition would continue with new vessels. The guild officially condemns these actions, Krastor declared during the briefing. We seek fair competition, not sabotage. Daniel nodded appreciatively. Since the crisis, relations between the teams had changed. Not friendship exactly, but a wary professional respect. The new challenge involved 3 identical derelict vessels, ancient exploration ships discovered drifting in the outer solar system. Each bore markings of a civilization believed extinct for thousands of years. These vessels have resisted all previous repair attempts, the Arbiter explained. Your goal is simple. Make them operational again. You have 24 hours. Samantha whistled softly as they boarded their assigned ship. This technology is unlike anything I've ever seen. The vessel's interior was a blend of crystalline structures and what appeared to be grown biological components. Control surfaces responded to touch with faint luminescence. Nothing resembled conventional machinery. How do we even start? Jack wondered aloud. Daniel ran his hand along a wall panel. The same way we always do. We observe, we learn, we adapt. The guild team approached their ship with sophisticated analysis equipment. They methodically scanned every component, building a comprehensive technical database before attempting any repairs. The human team took a different approach. They split into pairs, each exploring different systems, testing responses, looking for patterns. Olivia discovered that certain crystals resonated when exposed to specific frequencies. Jack found pathways that conducted energy when arranged in particular sequences. Hours passed. The guild team made steady progress, their analytical approach yielding consistent results. The human team experienced frequent setbacks, but also moments of breakthrough insight. These aren't just ships, Samantha realized as she studied a pulsing node. They're almost alive. Not conscious, but responsive. This insight proved crucial. The human team began treating the vessel less like a machine and more like an organism. They discovered that systems would heal when provided with the right energy types and environmental conditions. 18 hours into the challenge, all 3 teams had achieved partial activation of their vessels. The guild's ship had perfectly functioning navigation and power systems, but no life support. The mixed team had balanced results across all systems. The human ship had exceptional life support and communications but struggled with propulsion. We're falling behind on the metrics, Lisa reported, reviewing their progress against the guilds. Daniel wasn't concerned. We're not trying to win by their standards. We're finding our own path. In the final hours, fatigue set in. The guild engineers maintained their methodical pace, but innovation slowed. The human team, despite exhaustion, experienced a surge of creative problem-solving. Jack discovered that the ship's propulsion system responded to harmonic inputs rather than direct commands. Olivia found that communication systems activated when exposed to specific light patterns. Each breakthrough built upon the last. With 1 hour remaining, something unexpected happened. As Daniel connected a repaired navigation crystal to the life support system, a connection the specifications didn't call for, the entire vessel hummed to life. Systems that had remained dormant began activating in sequence. What did you do? The Arbiter asked, entering to check their progress. Daniel shook his head in wonder. I'm not entirely sure. I noticed the crystalline structures shared resonance patterns, so I created a feedback loop between systems. When the 24-hour mark arrived, the Arbiter conducted final evaluations. The guild ship functioned at 78% efficiency according to traditional metrics. The mixed team achieved 81%. The human ship registered only 65% on standard measurements. But when the Arbiter initiated a comprehensive flight test, the human ship responded with extraordinary capabilities the others lacked. It demonstrated self-repair functions, adaptive navigation, and energy efficiency far beyond expectations. By traditional metrics, the Guild approach is superior, the Arbiter announced. But the human vessel has accessed functions previously thought lost. Both approaches have merit. Krastor approached Daniel as the teams gathered for the final assessment. Your methods defy our understanding, the Guild leader admitted. But the results are undeniable. The competition had no clear winner, and that itself was the most important outcome of all. 3 months after the competition, Daniel Carter stood at the observation deck of the newly expanded Tinker's Haven. What had once been a modest repair station now sprawled across space, with multiple docking bays, research facilities, and training centers. The view before him was unlike anything humans had imagined possible just a year earlier. A massive alien armada, over 50 vessels of various species and designs, waited patiently in organized patterns around the station. Not for war, but for maintenance. Director Carter, the Miraxian delegation is ready for the ceremony, Lisa said, approaching with a tablet in hand. Daniel smiled at his new title. Following the competition, the Galactic Repair Guild had proposed something unprecedented: joint human-alien repair academies throughout the galaxy. Daniel had been appointed the first human director of interspecies engineering education. Who would have thought our greatest contribution to galactic society would be fixing things? He mused. Lisa laughed. Turns out the galaxy needed mechanics more than it needed warriors. They walked together toward the main conference hall. Along the way, they passed workshops where human engineers worked alongside alien apprentices. In another section, Guild instructors taught humans the theoretical principles behind advanced alien technology. Jack's biomechanical interface class is oversubscribed again, Lisa reported, and Olivia's adaptive tools workshop has a waiting list from 6 different species. The conference hall was filled with representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations. At the center stood a peculiar monument, a sculpture made from parts donated by ships of every member species, assembled in a harmonious whole that somehow functioned as a self-sustaining energy generator. Krastor, now the Guild's ambassador to Earth, approached Daniel. Their relationship had evolved from antagonism to cautious alliance to genuine respect. The first graduates of the Joint Academy have exceeded all expectations, the alien said. Vessels repaired with combined techniques last longer and perform better than ever before. Daniel nodded. It turns out we both had part of the answer. You had the knowledge, we had the intuition. The formal ceremony celebrating the Academy's expansion was brief but meaningful. Representatives from each species placed a tool into a shared repository, a symbol of knowledge freely given and received. Afterward, Daniel walked with Samantha through the station's newest section, a massive hangar where an ancient vessel, larger than any in current use, was being restored by a mixed team. They found it drifting at the edge of known space, Samantha explained. No one could identify its origins. The Guild tried for decades to understand it without success. Now humans and aliens worked side by side on the mystery ship. Human intuition guided by alien knowledge, alien precision enhanced by human creativity. We've learned something about the universe, Daniel said, watching the team's work. The most advanced technology is worthless without the ability to maintain it. Civilization isn't just about building new things, it's about preserving what we've created. That evening, as the station's lights dimmed to simulate night, Daniel returned to the observation deck. A Guild engineer named Velmora joined him, her 4 eyes blinking in their species equivalent of thoughtful contemplation. Before humans, she said quietly, we believed perfect engineering meant systems that never failed. Now we understand that all things eventually break. The true measure of advancement is not preventing failure, but how we respond when it occurs. Daniel watched as a newly repaired Genovian cruiser departed the station, its engines glowing with renewed energy. Humans never reached the stars through conquest, he reflected. We came as mechanics, bringing nothing but our tools and our ability to see problems differently. In the distance, more ships approached, a seemingly endless stream of vessels seeking human ingenuity. Earth had found its place in the galactic community not through fear or dominance, but through the simple, profound act of fixing what was broken. They come to us now, Velmora observed, not because they fear human weapons or desire human resources, but because, Daniel finished her thought with a smile, because no one does it better. The repair lights of Tinker's Haven shone like a beacon across space, calling to all who needed help, and in answer to that call, the ships of 1,000 worlds continued to come. I notice you're asking for Part 8, but the story outline I provided was designed as a 7-part story, and we've now completed all 7 parts. However, I'd be happy to write an epilogue or follow-up chapter that extends the story. Here it is. 5 years had passed since the formation of the Human-Alien Repair Academies. Tinker's Haven had grown from a single station to a network of facilities throughout the solar system. Earth had become the center of a new kind of galactic economy, one built on restoration rather than consumption. Daniel Carter stepped off the shuttle onto the newest human outpost, Restoration Prime, located in the Ta City system. This was the first human repair facility established outside Earth's solar system, a milestone in humanity's peaceful expansion to the stars. "Welcome to Restoration Prime, Director Carter," said Ben Wilson, the station's young commander. "We're honored by your visit." Daniel smiled as he took in the bustling activity. Dozens of alien vessels surrounded the station, and teams of mixed species moved with practiced efficiency between repair bays. "How are the local species responding to our presence?" Daniel asked as they walked through the main corridor. "Better than expected," Ben replied. The Saturnians were skeptical at first, but after we helped rebuild their orbital platforms, following a solar storm, attitudes changed quickly. They entered the station's Central Operations Center, where a holographic display showed repair assignments and progress across the facility. Human controllers worked alongside alien coordinators, their movements synchronized by years of collaboration. "We've received an unusual request," Ben said, bringing up a file on the main screen. "A species we've never encountered before. They call themselves the Archivists." The image showed a massive ship unlike any Daniel had seen. Its design suggested extreme age, yet it moved with the precision of advanced technology. "They arrived yesterday," Ben continued. "They say they've been observing humanity's emergence as repair specialists. They want to speak with the person who started it all." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "That would be Zex Terra, not me. His ship was the first to seek our help. They specifically asked for you." Hours later, Daniel stood in a specially prepared conference room. The air had been adjusted to an unusual mixture that the visitors could breathe comfortably. When the doors opened, 3 beings entered, tall, with translucent skin that seemed to shift colors as they moved. Daniel Carter, the lead archivist, said, its voice melodic and clear despite not using any visible translation device. "The human who changed the path of galactic development." Daniel shook his head modestly. "I just fixed a few ships." "You did far more," the archivist replied. "We have observed many species reach technological advancement. Most follow predictable paths: conquest, resource competition, eventual self-destruction. Rarely does a species find a different way." The being moved closer, its skin shifting to a deep blue. "We record the histories of civilizations. For millennia, we watched as technically advanced species failed to grasp the simple truth that preservation is as valuable as creation. Until humans." The archivist extended what appeared to be a hand, offering a small crystalline object. "This contains the technical knowledge of 17 extinct civilizations whose greatest advancements were lost when they fell. We believe humans and their allies will use this knowledge wisely." Daniel accepted the gift with appropriate gravity. "Why trust us with this?" "Because you understand something fundamental," the archivist explained. "The universe naturally moves toward disorder. Things break down. Only through conscious effort, through repair and restoration, can this tide be temporarily reversed. This understanding is rare and precious." As the meeting concluded, Daniel stood with Ben at the viewport, watching the archivist's ancient vessel depart. "What will you do with their gift?" Ben asked. Daniel turned the crystal in his hand, feeling its weight, not just physical, but historical. "We'll do what humans do best," he replied. "We'll learn from it, share the knowledge, and use it to fix what's broken." In the years that followed, humanity continued its unique expansion among the stars, not as conquerors or colonizers, but as the mechanics of the galaxy. And in their workshops and repair bays, the knowledge of ancient civilizations found new life in the hands of those who understood that the greatest strength was not in building empires, but in mending what others had abandoned.